want to tell you a story.
Do you ever find yourself overwhelmed?
Mrs. Wang, are you with us?
I am paying attention.
This is 476 Barbary, right?
Yeah, I'm renting this place.
No, I booked it a month ago.
You heard it up top. We're back for a Norm year. That's right. We covered some topics last year in pop culture and did some great episodes, and we're here to talk and rank them and give you our favorites, our recommendations here in our best of Normies 2022 episode with your hosts, Normie or Colin.
Normie or Mike.
And Normie Jacob.
Yay.
Baby
Happy
Normie.
Normie. Yes.
Happy Normie.
happy
Sometimes
birthday
baby
to me.
Normie, Jacob. Happy
Because,
birthday.
You know, normies don't know this, but I was born in January 11th to be exact. And so I'm kind of a New Year's baby or a Norm Year's baby.
That's right. We're coming up on that. It's birthday week as we get back to record after the holidays. Hope you all had good holidays. You know, good to see you guys again. It's been a while.
Yeah. I missed you guys. I had the chance to listen to our holiday special episode, our Star Wars holiday special episode that we recorded last week. Of course, we did take a week off in between, but I got to listen to that episode and could not convince anyone in my family to watch that special, unfortunately. But I was laughing listening to BC and Adam. Shout out to them and the Cargo Bay podcast. If any of our listeners aren't checking them out, check them out.
That was a lot of fun. But you wanted to rewatch that after all that with your family.
I wanted to punish somebody with it. And then I wanted to watch that Lego special too. I know we were talking about that. Did anybody get around to doing that?
I didn't watch any of those.
Yes, I did.
Oh, you go ahead.
I did watch that actually, you know, a couple of days before I flew to out of state to visit family and whatnot. And so a couple of days before Christmas, I was watching all these holiday specials. I watched the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. And I was like, let me throw on that Lego one.
Was it good?
It was all right. It was fine.
Better than what we reviewed?
Yeah, it's the best Star Wars holiday special by default. But, you know, it's a pretty low bar to clear. But it was fun. It's kind of, you know, Rey kind of zooming around the best hits of all Star Wars, basically, time traveling. And, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Guardians, is that any good? I haven't seen that one yet either. But now I missed the window. I got to wait a year.
That one was pretty good. Kevin Bacon.
I think it's cute. Yeah.
Playing himself in canon in the MCU. Just so you know. Yeah.
Strange.
Well, you know, speaking of MCU, real quick, I did have a chance to go to Houston, and this will tie in with Moon Knight. They had a King Tut exhibit. And I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. So we went to the museum, and as we're going in, I say, oh, are we going to become avatars? You know, are we going to do this? And then they actually had the Khonshu avatar, the mummy of the avatar of Khonshu was actually there. And I'm like, I was just joking, but it was the real mummy. Yeah.
That is so cool, dude.
I mean, that's cool to me than
just
King
like
Tut's body. That was boring, but Khonshu's avatar.
You saw
mummy,
that too?
Yeah, but that's not in the DC, you know, or MCU. So anyway, maybe I'm Moon Knight now. Steven, latest Gators? I don't know, but that's my highlight anecdote, I guess. If you guys have a holiday anecdote.
I do have something that ties into pop culture, normie culture. I went to Colorado where my mom lives, and we visited the Overlook Hotel, or not the Overlook Hotel.
That is
but
fucking amazing.
Right. I'm blanking on the name right now of what it's actually called, but it is the hotel that Stephen King stayed in 1975. One night, he had a crazy drunken dream that night, and it was the idea for The Shining. So he wrote The Shining based on this staying in this hotel, which is not the hotel they used in the movie, in the Kubrick movie, but it's the hotel that The Shining was originally based on. Yeah.
Right. I think it's the Stanley Hotel based on
Stanley Hotel. That's
Thanks
right.
to our researchers. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Did you stay in that the cursed room? What is it? The documentary?
No.
Was it the 316 or something?
Yeah, it's 217 in the book, 237 in the movie, I believe.
Right.
That room is like you have to reserve that like up to a year ahead of time.
Oh my
it's
God.
so in demand of just like Stephen King fans visiting there and staying there.
I'm gonna
Pretty
get really
wild.
drunk, do a bunch of cocaine, and have a crazy dream and write a book.
Torment your
Well, that's
family.
the story. Is
Yeah.
that so he went down to the
Wild.
bar, and there was a bartender named Lloyd there, like in the movie, but he wasn't a ghost. He was a real person, and he's
Right.
like,
Is it a
he puts a
enabler?
$20 bill down
Presumably.
on the bar and says, "Whatever that'll get me," and just drank all night with this guy Lloyd. Went back, stumbled back to his room, and had this crazy drunken dream, and it was The Shining.
Wild.
And this is before Stephen King had really broken out. You know, he'd written like a couple novels, but he hadn't had his big, you know, he hadn't had Carrie made into a movie yet. This is 1975, so pretty crazy stuff. Yeah,
That is wild. That's cool you got to visit that. The
for all you
inspiration
King
for
heads out there.
That's right. Yeah, we
And
love
I
Stephen
mean,
King.
Shining's only the second movie adaptation, so yeah, I mean that is early.
You have any pop culture tie-ins, adventures or misadventures, Colin, besides trying to punish people with Star Wars?
Well, and Jacob, I know that to tie into another one of our episodes, you showed your sister Gremlins, and she just like flipped out on Gizmo and stuff, right?
Yes, we watched that Christmas night, I want to say.
Christmas Eve we watched it, yeah.
I was like, let me put on Gremlins. I had some travel issues getting there, so I was a little late, but that's a whole other story. And I was like, let's watch Gremlins, convince my sister. She's like, oh, they're so cute. They look like Furbies. And she loved it. And then we got to the second half of the movie where things start getting crazy, and she just loved it, you know?
That's excellent.
I made some people watch Gremlins too. It was good. I don't know, not too many other Christmas fun experiences. We watched A Christmas Story, and of course we're all from Ohio, and you know that big connection with the house there. And then they have that new A Christmas Story too. I could not convince anyone in my life to turn that thing on. So
we watched it, and not to review that whole movie.
Mike?
I thought it was better than it had any right to be. I thought it was kind of sweet. I think it's all okay.
I might watch it then.
Yeah. We thought it was fine.
It's got the kid. He's all grown up.
The guy who helped make Mysterio.
Yeah, super famous Hollywood producer, super rich guy who gets to work on every Jon Favreau movie. Like gets a piece of like every Iron Man film. Really? Peter Billingsley, yeah.
Yep.
I always wonder what that guy was up to.
He's a legend, but he's like a leading man in this. He doesn't get that opportunity much. I think he does a good job of being the dad trying to have a good Christmas. But anyway, that's that's last year at this point. We're into 2023, and as we said up top, we're going to be looking back one more time last year and talking about our top numbered list, up to 10, maybe more, maybe honorable mentions. We'll be talking movies, a little bit of TV, and other extraneous, but mostly movies, because there's some good stuff, especially at the end of the year we haven't got a chance to talk about. But I say we jump into it, fellas. One more time, flashback 2022. Right after this,
we're back here on Normies Like Us. We are going to start counting things down because, like we said, we're saying bye-bye 2022 by listing off the movies to start with that we loved about it. So we're gonna start by reading our top 10 list here. We're gonna start at number 10, but first some honorable mentions, boys.
Yeah, I guess I'll jump in first. This was almost making it into my top 10. When you see what my number 10 is, it's almost more thematic, but Corey Cunningham, Halloween Ends, almost made my top 10.
No.
Almost made it. I'm the only one, me and Red Letter Media, we're the only ones who get it. And then I just watched All Quiet on the Western Front. It's a German World War I movie on Netflix. It's for your consideration. It's kind of like they're Saving Private Ryan. It's very similar in tone. It's a bummer, but war is. But you're getting the German perspective of World War I. But it's, hey, war sucks for everybody. That's kind of the tone of the film. Like all of this is bullshit. So visually very impressive. It's like over 2 hours long. I watched it in German. Check it out if you like that kind of thing. But it was an honorable mention, kind of a newer movie. So that's it for me, Jacob.
Yeah, I haven't gotten the chance to check it out yet, but that was definitely on my list to watch.
I finished it this afternoon. Yeah, like I started it yesterday.
Yeah, I texted you guys like a week and a half ago maybe and said like, oh, I don't have that many movies from this year that I've that I would consider good enough for a top 10 list. But then ever since that, I've really been trying to watch everything that I've been meaning to watch that came out in 2022 that I was available to watch on streaming or whatever else. But now I'm thinking I've got a really solid list here, and so much so that I did have some honorable mentions that I felt bad they didn't make the cut of just the top 10. But so for my honorable mentions, I have the Batman I thought that was
That's
good.
not a top 10 for you. Interesting. Okay.
It's on my
No.
honorable mentions as well, Jacob.
Yeah, like I said, I had to make hard cuts, because there's just too many good movies.
It's not a rewatcher for me. It seems like it's just
Hmm.
too long.
I haven't rewatched it. I
Gotcha.
think next year I'm going to rewatch it during Spooktober because it's a Halloween movie. Like Die Hard is a Christmas movie. The Batman is a Halloween movie.
Yeah,
I will,
Corey Cunningham's in it. He's the Riddler. No, I know, Jacob.
Yeah, it's still cheese. It's on my list. I'll let you know when we get to that numbered spot. But
sure.
it's in my list proper. So
we'll talk about it more when we get.
I'm the only one who put it in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I want your positive take on it, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
But the Batman, the Northman, two different kinds of man.
two mans. He hates the mans.
I also have Glass Onion. I think probably we'll talk about that on other people's lists.
Yes, interesting.
Another one. This one for me is in the 11 spot, so it just missed the top 10. But Crimes of the Future by David Cronenberg.
Jacob.
Now this is not a movie that I can recommend to everyone.
No.
So some of these movies, they're not for everyone. I wouldn't recommend this to a lot of people. It's
this one's not.
If David Cronenberg.
Whoa.
Yeah, you could call this movie cyberpunk. I think a better word that I came up with is organ punk. I call this movie an organ punk sci-fi movie. But David Cronenberg, obviously he's done a lot of body horror type stuff, especially earlier in his career. This is sort of a return to that era because for the last 20 years or so in the 2000s, he's been doing sort of more awards baity type movies, usually starring Viggo Mortensen, which this one also does. But I'm a big fan of David Cronenberg. I know Colin had less, good things to say about this movie.
In all fairness, I probably only looked at the screen for 5 minutes of it.
Yeah, it's not for the
something I'm watching between my fingers.
There's a lot of scenes of weird surgery, weird just body stuff. It takes place in a near future where humans, they don't have, they don't feel pain anymore. They don't have infection. And it's about this guy that grows new organs as part of performance art. It's pretty out there. Yeah,
that sounds pretty wild. And we talked about that genre that Hellraiser kind of straddles, where it's this kind of gross out, blood and surgery tools. It's
Well, if you've seen any David Cronenberg's Videodrome, Naked Lunch, Crash, that's a movie about people that are sexually turned on by car crashes. He's not afraid to go to, wild places in terms of
yes.
Unfortunately,
right?
He's got kind of a fucked up mind, but
you did kind of a film series in 2022 where you were watching a lot of Cronenberg.
Yeah. 80s Cronenberg was the best to me, The Fly, Videodrome, Scanners. There's some yeah.
It's just cool that you got to do one in 2022.
Almost.
And this is his return to form, where he hasn't done this kind of body horror in 30 years, pretty much. So yeah, nice. I would say check that out. If maybe look at the trailer, and if it seems like something you'd be into, then watch it. Because a lot of normies, you're not going to like this movie. I'll just tell you that right now.
Yeah, don't have family movie night with this one. Don't just pop it on the TV.
It's not for the squeamish. Kristen Stewart is doing a super weird performance in it too, which I appreciate. But yeah, good movie.
Cool. Colin, is there any others you have, Jacob?
No, those are the main. Those are the honorable mentions for me.
Colin,
I'll do two quick shout outs of ones that were in top 10s at different points, but then kind of just got lobbed out and moved around. One I know we're going to talk about. I'm just guessing, but Avatar: The Way of Water. I just can't have a super long movie in my list.
Wow.
I love and I respect it. I love Big Jim. Everybody knows this. Moving on.
Got it.
One I want to highlight. I feel like when we started quarantine, we had a good Andy Samberg is a movie star movie that didn't get to go to theaters in Palm Springs. Mm-hmm. And to end quarantine, we had a good Andy Samberg movie that didn't go to theaters called Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And is kind of a dumb movie, but I want to shout out and recommend in this segment here just to say, it's about something. Again, I like movies that are about something, and this film that's should we be rebooting animated movies? Like, should we like literally be tearing apart our childhoods for content nonstop? I think that's a really interesting question to ask. So
yeah, and also the bootlegging side of things. It is a fascinating little movie, and it's fun. Yeah, so
yeah, very weird.
We did an episode on it. Check it out. Yeah, that's a good one. So anything else that didn't make the cut though?
No, that's kind of all I'll shout out.
So we're gonna climb the ladder from 10 all the way up to 1. If it's on our shared lists, we'll say it was there, and we can say where it was. If we'll figure that out. If we have overlap. Sure. And I'll just say the bottom half of my list, basically 6 through 10. It's a little bit just random. It's just like these are in there. They don't really have an order. And then the top 5, they are in an order, but there's like a theme to my top 5 of what made something make the cut. So when we get there, that's where I'm heading. The top 5 has a theme. The bottom half is just movies that I enjoyed a lot. So
for me, 1 through 10 is just in order, but I thought a lot about it. I thought very hard about this. It was a hard top 10, and I think it's a solid year for film, and I'm ready to dive in.
Yeah.
Colin, how was the process for you?
I'll shout out Letterboxd again. I think we're all doing it now, right? That's kind of the cool new thing of 2023. But Normies, if you don't know about it, it's a film logging website. And just to start that list in January of 2022 to be like, I'm already putting stuff on here. It naturally kind of moved around all year. I'm kind of happy with how everything fell.
Totally. Yeah, I had to do a little bit of Fandango. Like, what movies did I go to? Like, I had to find all my confirmations in my email. So had I been tracking all year, it would have been a lot easier. I got
what do I know? What do I like?
What have I seen?
Well, that's what Letterboxd I feel like really helped me this year, because I pretty much just started doing Letterboxd like at the beginning of this past year of 2022. So I've been doing it almost a full year now, and logging every movie I watch, doing a little review, a little blurb usually, and rating it. And it made it really easy to go back. I could filter it by year. So I just put all the movies I've seen in 2022, and then I can, sort it by my personal ranking. And then it was very easy to just extract a top 10 list from that.
That's amazing.
So movies that were
made it very easy to do. Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, let's jump right in. I'll go with my number 10 because it edged out Halloween Ends. But this is actually a better movie, and it's number 10, and it's called X because that's 10 in the Roman numerals. So. That made the list. A great throwback. Nice. Toby Hooper, Texas Chainsaw. Love it, love it, love it. Jenna Ortega. What's not to like about this little movie?
Queen, she's dancing for us, Mike. She's doing it right now. She loves hearing you say that about her.
That's right.
That movie was on my lower on my. So I had a whole top 20 on Letterboxd, and that was that's like 19. So that's lower on my honorable mentions. But I enjoyed that movie a lot too, and I still need to see Pearl.
Same. I still haven't seen Pearl.
Yeah.
Colin, I think you've seen both.
Wonder if that would be on your list if you had. Yes, I have. X is on my number 9. I guess I'll talk about it in a sec.
Yeah, cool. Well, right there. Okay. So that's my 10. Jacob, I guess you want to, then we'll rotate back to Colin for Colin's 10.
Yeah. Well, my 10 is a movie I know we all really enjoyed. We did an episode about it. Prey.
Hell yeah, dog.
Yep. That's
Prey.
On my list
Great
too.
movie.
I'm super happy that made everybody.
The Predator franchise.
Great.
Yeah,
everybody
just a really good genre movie, and what's not to like?
Yeah, it's very good. I'm glad that made all of our list.
Yeah, we'll talk about that more once it gets to
the number. But Colin, what's your number 10 then?
So I kind of had a spot open on my list for a while, and I was like, how is this going to fall out? How's this going to fall out? And it literally came down to me watching this movie today on Paramount Plus. I am, of course, talking about Top Gun Maverick, gentlemen. I am entering the danger zone here.
I have not seen it. Jacob, did you see it?
I saw that recently. It's available on Paramount Plus now. I thought it was good, but I didn't like it as much as it seems like a lot of people did. Like, I thought it was like a solid 3-star movie.
So didn't make your list then.
It actually made the 20 spot in my top 20, if we're being very particular.
Let me blam it out then. As my number 10 here, just saying it is, look, I know that conservatives are like having on to it right now and being like, it's a movie for us. It is a movie that is just for movie lovers. I think experientially, it is this huge, big, explosive action blockbuster that shows you that a grounded, tiny little doll-sized man named Tom Cruise can be a bigger than life action movie star, and that those movies are still valuable. And I just want more stuff to get made with practical people flying in fucking ships and like crashing and like shooting guns and shit. So
Oh yeah.
Well, it really does show
America.
that Tom Cruise is the last movie star, essentially.
Yeah.
Because really, to sell a movie now, it needs to either be superheroes or Tom Cruise is in it, and that's the only way these blockbusters make money.
When will he be a superhero, Jacob?
Yeah. Or James Cameron's whatever the hell he's doing. That's
right.
That's
When
the
will he be
exception.
But
Not
he's
me,
almost
Yeah.
almost too good to be a superhero, because when he's in a movie, it's just he's Tom Cruise. You know, I can't name his actual character in Top Gun. You know, he's Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible, but he's just Tom Cruise.
He's Tom Cruise.
He's
Yeah.
doing
He's
stunts.
Maverick. He's Mr.
He's
Maverick.
flying planes. Yeah, he's a movie star, and he's such a weird person in real life, but he sells. He made that movie the biggest hit in the world.
I have to look at the positive side of him.
I respect his dedication to the craft. You know, I like to call him the white Jackie Chan. You know, he's willing to put his body on the line. I saw him jumping a dirt bike off a cliff and then parachuting, and he did it not only once to get the drone is filming him, but he jumped a motorcycle off a cliff with parachute and did it 6 times in one day to get the shot. And it's like, I don't know what movie it might be for the new Mission Impossible. And I'm like, anybody that can, the insurance must be a nightmare, but respect to Tom Cruise. And I'll have to watch Maverick.
Also,
I've never seen the original Top Gun, so I'll do a double feature night.
You don't really need to, because I haven't either.
Yeah.
And Tony Scott directed the original, actually, but I've never seen it. That's why it's so weird that this was such a big hit, because it's like no one was really asking for a sequel to Top Gun, but it works. And also, I just want to say, Tom Cruise is 60 years old in that movie, and he looks insane. Like, it should not be possible for someone to look like he looks in that movie.
My father is 66 years old. The thought of my father on a motorcycle would terrify me, Jake.
Yeah,
and it's in his contract that he has to be.
Right. Yeah, and the premise of the movie is that he's the only one who can fly a plane good enough to do this mission. Like, none of these 20-year-olds that he's training can do it. He has to do it.
Mike, at one point he flies, like, the opening scene is they're like, "You're too old to do this." He's like, "Too old to do this? I'll fly a fucking spaceship. I'll fucking fly a jet into space." And they're like, "Okay."
I guess you're okay.
So crazy.
What a maverick, dude. But he's experiencing the
G
forces at the age of 60, flying a plane, like, bro,
shouldn't be possible.
Maybe there's something to that Scientology stuff.
Now.
Yeah.
He's like, no, this is where I belong.
Just quickly to say, of course, this should have been on our list 2 years ago, or my list 2 years ago. It was, of course, delayed because Tom Cruise was like, no, you will not see this thing until theaters are open again. So it is this
probably a wise
blessing moment, an easy payoff. But to me, it is the culmination of like, we're back to normal, wink. Like, I guess if Tom Cruise says we are, I don't know.
Tenet tried. Tom Cruise did, and then Avatar solidified, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's kind of a respect to that.
Right.
Colin, we know what your number 9 is. It's my number 10. X, you just want to piggyback off there, pick it up?
Let's go right from there. Mike, I love Ty West. We've talked about it, I believe, in some past Whatcha episodes. Yep. Jenna Ortega is going to be in another movie on my list, so I won't talk about her for a bit, but I do think Mia Goth,
MVP.
Whether it's for this movie or for Pearl she's just playing one person. I mean, we've all seen X. The performance, the dichotomy again of the two characters she's playing in X, that is, I would love to see her get nominated for an Academy Award or something. I just think Mia Goth just knocks this movie out. So
she's a real goth.
Yeah.
Unlike Jenna, she's a real goth.
Yeah, she's a real goth. They should have put her in Wednesday. How dare they? Posers.
What's your power? I can also be an old lady. Oh.
Yeah, she deserves so much credit for the performance. And I need to see Pearl. It's on my list. So yeah, check out X if you like, especially 70s horror and stuff like that. It's good.
Yeah.
It's very good.
And I mean, I'm sure a lot of people watched that movie and didn't even realize that she was playing Pearl in that movie as well as the girl in the
It took me a while to even just as I was watching it, and then you see the credits, but Maxine, yeah, she's great.
Also, Kid Cudi is in that movie, and it's great.
Oh yeah. He's really great. There's an alligator.
Absolutely.
Like my cup for viewers at home, I have my alligator cup holder.
Oh, there you go.
That's my shout out to X. You know, If you know, you know.
Texas.
Once again, about a movie
Texas.
about something, it's about how it was kind of hard to make movies, and anybody who could make one, independent cinema was, important. And it was this thing that artists tried to strive to make at different, sometimes dirty levels. And
Well,
I
yeah,
like that. And
it's like the emergence of the home video market kind of democratized the creation of content the way YouTube did. Like it's that big of a revolution. People can get a camera, make something, and sell it. Okay, cool.
Very sex.
Well, that kind of leads into talking about movies about filmmaking, movies about movies. That leads into my number 9.
Okay.
It's The Fabelmans, directed by Steven Spielberg.
There's
Sammy
another
Fabelman
movie I thought it could have been when you said a movie about making movies. But yeah, The Fabelmans. I had not seen this. What do you think?
Yeah, I just saw it like literally last night, and I'm not always like a huge Spielberg fan. I think he has some really good movies, but every movie that he makes is not really my thing. But he's obviously a super talented director who has a huge body of work and is just a legend. And this movie is probably one of, if not his most autobiographical.
Mm-hmm.
It's about essentially his childhood, his family, his parents, and he's sort of, movie magic can be therapeutic. And I think he understands that more than almost anybody. And he's really basically doing therapy and working through his family issues with this movie. And it's pretty good. I liked it a lot.
I mean,
Colin, have you seen that at all?
Have you seen it?
I have seen it. And here's what I'm interested in, Jacob. It didn't do very well at the box office, unfortunately. And West Side Story kind of bombed as well. Now, The Post broke even and got some Academy Award attention. But really, Ready Player One was kind of the last time Steven Spielberg had a hit. What do you think's the future for our Stevie boy?
I don't know. I mean, that's a good question, because
is this a retirement picture? You're talking about how personal it is.
I was reading a little about how this movie got made, and he's been wanting to make it since the early 2000s. So he's been sort of had this idea for about 20 years. And so it's kind of like he was just, had to, take a lot of time to make it, but it got made eventually. And it's really his career defining movie. Not that it's his best movie, but if you just want to know what Spielberg is about, kind of the themes that he consistently hits on in his movies, watch this movie. It's like the quintessential Spielberg movie.
Nice. It's Steven Spielberg presents Steven Spielberg the movie.
Yeah.
Do you get to make more movies after you do that? I guess so.
Indiana Jones coming soon. He's associated with that,
Yeah, and I mean,
his legacy continues.
Do whatever he wants at this point. I mean, he's a living legend. And of course, you also get
right?
Yeah. And you also have David Lynch in this movie as John Ford, which is a great little treat.
That's
very important moment.
Yeah.
Nice. So that's 9 for you, right, Jacob?
That is 9.
All right.
For me, yes.
Well, my 9 is a recent one. It might show up on other lists, but it's Glass Onion, Knives Out, murder mystery with a James Bond murder mystery. We love it. I can't remember the character's name ever, but
Benoit
damn, is
Blanc.
Daniel Craig good. Benoit Blanc. Yeah, I thought this is a great...
You in the bloody bathtub still.
I think this one was more fun than the first one. The first one might be tighter narratively, but this is just more fun. I really enjoyed this one a lot. So Glass Onion,
I agree with
check it out. Was it on any of you guys' lists at all?
Well, Jacob didn't make your top 10, you said.
It made my honorable mentions.
Right.
And I thought it was pretty good. Like you said, I don't think it's as good as Knives Out in general, but it is maybe more comedic, and it seemed like the cast was having a lot of fun together. And I love Dave Bautista. Love seeing him in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
My God, Mike, we're so close. Let's stay on this. It's my number 8, dude.
Boom.
I'm right above this here. So I'm with you. I've seen it. I've seen it 3 times now.
I've seen it twice now.
Jacob,
I
watched it
myself,
viewing, right?
And then I watched it with my family when I was, in the holidays.
It's a good parents movie, and I think when you're getting those other exposed viewings where other people are like, I'm having fun with this too, you're like, you're supposed to watch movies with people. It's just that reinforcing thing where you're like, I would have loved to seen this in an audience.
definitely a movie that should have been in theaters. I had to convince my mom and stepdad to watch it because they're like, "Oh, is that the Daniel Craig? I just like him better when he's Bond. Like I don't want to hear his
This
southern
is his
accent."
best
I'm like,
role.
"What are you talking about?"
Are you kidding me?
I love Logan.
Didn't like Knives
I
Out.
love when he's that crazy guy.
Yeah.
Benoit Blanc. Here's the thing. I would love for whatever this next third movie is to be a movie where he's the suspected person who killed someone or something. He has to like get himself out of it. I would love to see his character take a more active role because it's always the person he's paired up with who's sort of like the more interesting character. And this, I was blown away by what's her name, Janelle Monáe, the singer.
Oh yeah,
he always pairs up with a young
so
female,
yes, a beautiful
Ana de Armas,
James Bond.
That he's platonic
Yes.
has a platonic relationship with because he's a gay man, as made canon by this movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But
he just loves doing mysteries, but he hates
Benoit
Clue.
Blanc.
Yeah, I want one of these every year.
Things. Yeah.
Yes, Mike.
Yeah.
Would you play Among Us with him, Mike? Do you think you could beat him?
I think I could beat him Among Us because he hates dumb things.
It's a terrible, terrible game.
Yeah.
Also, I want to shout out Edward Norton for, I don't know if we should spoil, but basically playing an Elon Musk type character in this, a Musk, Zuckerberg, Bezos,
billionaire,
Steve Jobs, whoever you want to throw in there.
Yeah, holier
amalgamation.
Jacob,
I thought that was hilarious.
Is he difficult to work with? Because I always miss Edward Norton.
There are reports that he can be. He's very like on American History X, he like tried to take over control from the director of like editing and everything. But so yeah, there's definitely been. He's just kind of a perfectionist,
Hulks,
essentially.
You know.
Yes, that's true.
I love that one still. I have the Blu-ray of that Hulk. Get out of here. But great movie. Glass Onion. It has layers. Yeah. It has something to say too, like we're saying. Not to give anything away, but it's saying a lot.
Does it bug you guys having it be called a Knives Out mystery? There's all that discourse now.
Why?
No, it's Nancy Drew, Benoit Blanc adventures. I want more.
It seems like Rian Johnson just wanted. He said, of course, his famous line is, "They're not called, James Bond presents Tomorrow Never Dies." It's just the movie title.
Mm-hmm.
Those films weren't made in the age of streaming and branding.
It should be
a marketing thing, strictly.
Yeah.
If anything, it should be a Benoit Blanc mystery.
Yes.
Yeah.
Instead of a Knives Out.
Retroactively, they should add that to Knives Out because that's it. Only makes sense for
A New
that
Hope.
title,
Just put a new subtitle on both of them.
Yeah, Star Wars. Yes.
Well, yeah.
Exactly right.
Good. Fix it. But yeah, I thought that was very charming. So
that was my number 8. So can we jump, Mike? How about your number 8?
Well, this is one that I don't know if it's on anybody else's list, but it's a great movie. It's again good for the family. It's called Sonic 2. And it's great. It's one of the best video game movies, and it's really sweet.
Happy, Mike.
Idris Elba, Knuckles, Jim Carrey knocks it out of the park. Ben Schwartz is very, very good as Sonic, and Cyclops is there too. It's very fun.
Yeah.
So this was not on your list at all, I assume. I'm the only one.
It didn't make our list, but I did think it was fun. Yeah.
How is it not on my honorable mentions? Now,
I got an autograph from Sonic.
That's right.
Chili dog.
Now again, I said that when Jacob and I went, regardless of however we feel, you can just see it be a 4-quadrant movie where every type of family member was laughing and having a great time. And that, Mike, I love that you included this. I think that movie is so successful at what it did.
It's nothing but a force for good, and what has been it really is. It's nothing but a net positive in the good vibes of the world, and I think that's great. So it's in my top 10, number 8. Yep. Can't wait for the third one.
I wonder if the Mario movie will surpass it in terms of best video game title.
I cried watching the Mario movie trailer recently. I want to reveal that on this podcast.
Right.
So
yeah.
I'm really banking on that thing being good. But Jacob, can we get your number 8?
Yeah. Well, first I just wanted to mention one thing about the Fabelmans. Go back to my number 9 really quick. One thing I wanted to say that I thought was very interesting. Obviously, again, a big part of it is his relationship with his parents and his parents' relationship with each other. And him kind of coming to age and seeing them as people more than as flawed people more than just his parents, which everyone kind of does at some point where they realize your parents aren't perfect, like they make mistakes too. But what really struck me is just the actors that play the parents. So you have Paul Dano as the father, Michelle Williams as the mother, and then Seth Rogen as kind of this family friend character. It's sort of a stuff happens. But I just think it's interesting. It's like seeing these actors now. Paul Dano, I remember him playing a teenager, in Little Miss Sunshine. That's kind of how I think of Paul Dano. So it's just weird seeing these actors get older. They're all, 40 or almost 40 now and playing
Seth
parent
Rogen
roles.
Fucking smoking weed on Freaks and Geeks is like
Yeah.
16, dude. Don't blow
Seth
my mind right
Rogen.
now.
Yeah, right.
It's wild, but they do a great job. I just wanted to mention that, like, it's weird seeing these actors get older. Paul Dano is just someone I think of eternally as like a teenager, and he's like 40 now. So
now he's scaring the Batman.
Yeah,
right.
He had a good year.
Yeah, he sure did.
But back to my number 8.
Please.
And I think this is on Colin's list as well. Colin actually gave me the idea to watch it because I saw your review on Letterboxd. It's Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Hell yeah, dog.
I haven't seen this one, so you guys will have to fill me
This
in.
is
Mike,
this
you
is
would
on
love
Netflix.
this spooky wooden boy. Yeah.
It's a stop motion animated movie, which I love. I know Colin, you love as well. Coraline, all those Henry Selick, Night Before Christmas, Kubo.
Fucking Leica.
I'm
Is
a
this
big
Leica?
fan of stop motion. This is not Leica, but this is
It's
just
a conglomerate of like 3 countries that like Guillermo del Toro put together to be like, I want Mexican animators to make like stop motion, and you're like, wow, this is incredible.
That's awesome.
I think the guy that he co-directs it with is sort of a veteran of stop motion. But it's just an art form that I love, like specifically stop motion animation. Like, it takes so much work to make, so much time, because you have to move it frame by frame, and like it just takes so much time to make, and I just respect the hell out of it because it when it's really well done, it's just so good.
And the planning to have complex camera moves and lighting gags and characters interacting, like if there's a crowd, it's like, man, just the amount of foresight that has to go into that, and the meticulous effort. Yeah, I really respect that a lot.
So I always appreciate a nice stop motion, and the movie itself is great. And I know, Colin, you're going to talk about it in a little bit too.
It's so far up on my list, though. I'm loving that you're.
Oh, wow!
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
I
kind of it was higher, but some of the movies I watched recently had to knock it down a little bit, and I felt bad. But it really is great, and it's set in fascist Italy during World War II. It's like a darker Pinocchio,
of course. Spanish Revolution,
of course.
Yeah, it's great. It's Guillermo del Toro, great stuff.
Nice. That's awesome. Then, Colin, did we do your number 8?
We did my number 8 because it was Glass Onion.
7s. Yep.
Let's jump to my 7. A film you two recommended to me. So we haven't talked about it on this podcast because I was like, oh, I haven't seen it yet, and you guys were like, then we're not talking about it because that's the mythology of this movie in this year. I am, of course, talking about Barbarian.
Oh. Yeah.
And you didn't watch that during Spooktober?
I missed it during Spooktober. I capped it off to end and like watched it mid-November and was like, oh my God, this thing is incredible. And I wish I watched it sooner. I just wanted to talk to you guys about it so much. And again, we won't spoil anything because that's very important. But I'll just say that like the experience that one character had. Is this on any of your guys' lists?
This is on my list.
Actually, this is my next one.
God.
So
oh my God.
They're right there with you.
It's exceedingly high for me. It's
oh my God.
up.
I'm very excited. We'll definitely talk about it more. But what goes on, the journey of one character in particular, I'm just like, this is so well written. So that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, it's incredible. And I'll talk about it more. It's in the themed section of my list, so once we get to the top 5, but it will all be explained once I get up there. But
sure,
very cool. Jacob, it's on yours too. Maybe
my number 7, yes, is Barbarian.
Oh my God!
So you both had it at 7.
Yeah, and I just think it's a really strong horror debut from that director. I'm forgetting his name, but Zach Cregger from The Whitest Kids You Know. Yeah.
We talked about the podcast that comedy and horror, I think, are closely linked. There's a setup, a payoff. There's a timing that you need to have. Jordan Peele, obviously. So I watched Keanu recently. It's not on my list, but speaking of the old Peele boy.
Sure.
Anyway, I guess my 7, it's not Barbarian, but it is a warrior. And we've talked about it's on our list. It's Prey. Prey is number 7. Just great. Hulu original. Like it. Is this on any lists or mentions? I keep
coming up on mine. Jacob mentioned it already.
That was my number 10. Yep.
Yeah, so we will get there when he climbs up there. But yeah, so that's the 7s. Colin, keep it rolling, I guess.
I'm loving it, dude. We'll jump up to 6 for me. It's Banshees of Inisherin, a very weird, odd drama. Guys, did you see this?
No.
Yes, I did. This is on my list as well, a little bit higher.
Okay.
I was a
Excited
big
to
fan.
talk it.
I was a big fan.
It's
big year for
something-
Colin Farrell.
It's Jacob.
Oh, wow.
It's a big year for my boy Colin Farrell. Mike,
right.
I recommend.
What's the general premise? And then we'll talk about it probably more. Just pitch
So-
me on it.
It's some Irish boys just being Irish boys.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds
it's about if you ever have that like annoying friend that you want to stop being friends with, but he just keeps bothering you.
Right.
It's basically about that. Yeah.
Okay. Just some Irish lads. Banshing
Yeah.
it up. Okay, cool. Well, we'll talk more when it gets up there.
Banshees.
But where's your 6 at then, Jacob?
My 6, I'm very excited to talk about this one. Movie I watched this weekend. It's called RRR.
Oh my God.
Oh, I've heard
It's
about
an
this
Indian
one.
This
film. Yes. It's on Netflix.
This is just like where I'm like, I wish I had seen this because I just know this would be on my list too, Jacob. This movie's
Yeah.
supposed to rule.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's 3 hours long, but it is like I mentioned, it's an Indian movie. It's not Bollywood, which is the Hindi language film industry. There's a lot of languages in India and a lot of subsections of their cinema. This is Telugu language, so it's called Tollywood. But this is directed by S.S. Rajamouli, who is essentially the Steven Spielberg of India. He's like the biggest director in India. It stars two of their biggest, it stars like Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt of India, essentially.
Right.
Two of the biggest stars in India. And it's this sort of historical epic. It's a superhero film, basically, but it's
God.
It's a blockbuster. And it's about these two sort of revolutionary figures in India from history, and it's a fictional story because they never met in real life, but it's about their friendship. Like, what if they had met? What kind of adventures would they get into? And
would they be best friends?
Is it Gilgamesh? Did they fight and then become best friends? Is this Gilgamesh?
100% it is.
But very cool.
And actually, there's some disagreements where they're on different sides of a conflict at one point, but their friendship is too strong.
Dang.
And it's set during British rule of India, back during the heyday of the British Empire, when they were just kind of subjugating everybody in the world. Yeah.
Right.
And it's so epic.
The memes are out there. I mean, it just like, I've seen some of not even just like the dancing and the music, because again, you're saying Tollywood, Bollywood, that's like a huge staple over there, right? The dancing and the music. But
they do have
talking about these. But the leads, Jacob. I just saw that these two lead guys just seem so charming in this role.
They're
That's so great.
good. They're so charismatic, and it's about like the best bromance ever and how they defeated the British Empire.
Heck yeah,
the power
dude.
of friendship.
And it's like really over the top, right? Like it's
really over the top. It's got some
wild,
crazy
right?
action stunts. Like I said, musical numbers. It's got it all. It's just every second is just so entertaining and such a joy to watch. And I don't know very much about Indian cinema, obviously, but I mean, it's a huge hit internationally now because it came out on Netflix this year. It's weird because they don't have it in the original language in Telugu on Netflix. They only have the Hindi dub, so you can watch the Hindi dub or the English dub. So it's a little strange that they don't have like the original language, but it's a great movie. I highly recommend it to anybody. It puts Western blockbusters, most of them, maybe not Avatar, but the rest puts it to shame.
Wow. That's awesome.
It's
I'm
good
definitely
stuff.
going to have to catch up on that one. RRR.
That's so fucking
RRR.
cool.
Yeah, that's extremely cool. Where we got 6, so do Colin, we get your 6 or?
Yeah, that was Banshees for me. So let's hit the top 5.
I have my 6.
Oh, I'm sorry. Please go right ahead.
Then we'll bring a top 5 up. So to round out just my movies I really liked, this is one I watched very recently. I texted you guys about it. It's The Menu. It's incredible. I mean, I've been really into cooking this past year, so it was kind of perfect for me, but it's a fascinating little dinner thriller food related movie. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's well acted. It's a tight little story, and I was just really surprised how much I enjoyed it by the end of it. Got a good twist.
Don't smoke. You won't even be able to taste it.
Man, right? Yeah, there's like the glass onion. There's layers to this movie, especially it lends itself to rewatches. But there is a twist.
Yeah.
So
it didn't make my top 10, but it is in my 11 to 20, my honorable mentions, along with Glass Onion, which I thought were kind of similar movies in that they're sort of social commentary on essentially the rich, class and that kind of thing. Like, and
elitism and stuff.
I enjoyed The Menu. It also reminded me of a lot of Parasite, Bong Joon-ho's Parasite.
Yes. Oh wow,
yeah. Which I think is I like Parasite a little more, but I did like The Menu. Sometimes it felt a little one note in terms of like it keeps hitting the same point over and over. And once I understood what was happening, it lost momentum for me towards the end. But I did enjoy it, and I think it's the first movie from the director Mark Mylod, who works mostly in TV, and he wrote for Succession, I think, which is another show about how rich people suck.
Jacob, we are in a moment that I think you're very distinctly pointing out, but something that I call, and I haven't seen anybody point this out yet, but corporate, just like corpses. These movies that are these decomposition films where it's like we start with the rich at the toppest pedestal they could be, and you're just going to watch them fall the whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
And it's not even that they're like anti-hero films or like, because, we went through that wave of whatever, of like all this anti-hero stuff. It's really more like the protagonist in these movies, you're just going to watch them fail because they're parables to you, the audience, to be like, this type of person sucks. I think that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Dude, they
essentially
get what
like
they deserve, Mike.
Glass Onion, I think, is essentially a movie about how Ryan Johnson thinks Elon Musk sucks and is an idiot and a fraud.
Die.
Or any of these cult of personality billionaires, insert, right? But it's commenting on that for sure.
But Parasite, The Menu, there just seem to be a lot of people now who are like, how can we fucking tear down these richies?
At least
we live in tough economic times, and everybody loves a rich people suck movie, right? They're very popular.
It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, we love a rich people suck film because
we can't take them down.
They do
in real life, but we can take them down in the movies.
We never will.
Cathartic.
The golden rule: who has the gold makes the rules. Thank you, Aladdin.
Yeah, I did like The Menu. I thought Ralph Fiennes was great in that.
Yeah.
Anna Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult, like great cast.
Yeah, Mike,
and everything.
you kind of confessed to us off podcast. You went on a bit of a Big Eyes marathon.
I did. After this, I watched even the New Mutants. I watched Last Night in Soho, which I'm a big Edgar Wright film. That was very, very good. I just watched a bunch of Anya Taylor-Joy stuff. The Vavitch I watched, which, there's a related film on the list.
Northman in my honorable mentions.
Yeah. So it's cool to watch another Robert Eggers.
We love Chess Girl.
Yeah. That Black Phillip, though. Wow. The Vavitch was very good. I'm glad I saw it. But so The Menu kind of...
Would you like to live?
Increased my appetite for...
No. You know not to ask me that, goat.
Right. But yeah, good movie. Yeah. And I guess it just hit my interest. That's why it's in my top 10, because it's like just happened to be like the right kind of thing that I'm into with also the social commentary. So that rounds out the top 6. We're going to get into the top 5, I guess, right after this. Take a little break. Steel yourselves, because it's going to get spicy.
It's going to get
This
intense.
dish is called the mess. No,
oh my God.
Don't shit.
We're back on Normies Like Us, where we have been counting down our top 10 movies of the year. We've been shouting them out. We've been having some fun talking them. We're going to continue here. We're talking about our top 5.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go ahead and start because I want to just close the chapter on it. It's one you guys have all mentioned already. It's Prey. Dan Trachtenberg's incredible entry into the Predator franchise. Now, you guys have complimented the story. I just want to say, star in the making here again, Amber Midthunder, performance of a lifetime. I just think this is just a one-of-a-kind film because of her especially.
Yeah, she has to carry it, and I think she does. And, she does a great job. I think she's going to be doing a ton of new stuff. Dakota Beaver is also very good, her brother in this.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so.
That's great, Mike.
And the dog. Don't forget the dog.
Yeah, that dog.
Good boy.
Yep. But definitely, I meant to watch it when I went back because I told my father to watch Prey, and I said it's on Hulu. But then he watched Prey on Netflix, which is like a foreign language thriller. And I'm like, I don't think you watched the right thing. He's like, no, we're at the... I'm like, I don't think you're talking about the same movie.
Yeah, the Russian spies, and you're like, no, I don't.
No, there's no Russian spy. What are you talking about? Yeah. So,
but did he like that movie? That's the real
He
thing.
said it was all right, but I don't think it's funny.
I'll replace it on my list.
Yeah, do that. Jacob, what's your number 5 then? Let's break into the top 5.
All right, breaking into the top 5. We're getting to some really good ones. I mean, RRR was great too, but number 5, it's another blockbuster from our boy, Big Jim, JC.
Oh, Big Jim.
It's Avatar.
That's my number 5 too. That's perfect.
Oh,
we got him.
Boys, should we dive in?
Oh yeah,
Hey.
dude. How can we navigate this conversation?
Wow. Yeah. I mean,
it was in my
what
honorable
else can I say
mention.
about
Again, I said just too long.
Too
but
long.
boys, tell me the love. Take me to Pandora. Dip me in the water with the
right.
Or
Baptize me.
Let me just say real quick. All winter break, my running bit was, to any family member I was talking to, I would throw in a bit and be like, well, you know what the Great Spirit Iwa says? Or like, well, the Talcoon are really majestic. And just the language that has been introduced to me because of this film series is something I will treasure for the rest of my life.
There you go.
Man. Well, here's
they say that it has no cultural significance. And now look at you. You're quoting it using memes, you know.
No, here's where I'm coming at this from. I wanted to hate it, right? And we talked about it on the podcast, and this is where the theme of my top 5 is. The theme is all the films in my top 5 are doing something interesting with a genre that I really respect. That's something that could be stale, and they made it fresh. So I was already over the Avatar franchise. I said it's not valid. It can't name any characters. But then after watching this and sitting with it and talking about it, don't bet bet against Jim Cameron. But
come on, bro.
It's like, look, he wants to make billion-dollar transcultural movies that anybody can get into that tell you to care about the environment. And we kind of should right now. So
yes,
congratulations, Blockbuster, that's trying to make the world better. Cool. Like that's where it's doing something different with a blockbuster, and I respect it for that. And it's a technical marvel. Good job,
Most blockbusters are essentially Department of Defense propaganda. Top Gun.
Right. Transformers.
Looking at you. MCU.
Yeah.
We got fighter pilots in there, Captain Marvel.
Humans are the bad guys.
Taking guns out, making, little white dudes the bad guys. Yeah, you're right. Jacob, 7th highest gross film of all time. Today they've announced that. And he has said, of course, they are profitable. I will get to make the 3rd film. So congratulations.
It made it to $1 billion. I know that at least already.
Only director
1.6, Mike.
to ever make 3 movies that made $1 billion. Avatar, Titanic, Avatar 2.
The Way of Water.
The Way of Water.
Don't count them out. Man, here's the thing, though. I still can't name more than one character.
Mike!
What?
Jake Sully.
Can you name all the children
Mike,
right now?
I think about Spider, even though this is in my top 10. I think about Spider and Kiri a lot, and I miss them. And I actually think about returning to Pandora to visit my 2 friends. How dare you say that?
I can't get over the fact that I just kept mishearing the whole movie as Kitty. I thought that was just her name.
Kitty.
I was like, Kitty. What?
Kitty.
Jim,
Kitty cat.
why? But yeah, Spider. Okay, I guess I know 3 characters now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? I did try to convince my family to go see this in theaters.
But I couldn't get anyone to go, Jacob.
No take.
Such a hard sell for such a good movie. I don't get it.
Trying to convince my sister who loves animals. I was trying to explain to her, like, oh, it's all about nature and stuff. She's like, but they're not real animals. And I'm like, well,
Laura,
yeah, it's a...
At one point, a whale says it can't give its backstory because it's too painful. You have to understand.
Yeah.
Look, I try to pitch so much. I made her watch the trailer. She's like, I don't know. I'm just not into it. I tried to tell my mom to see it.
Yeah, Pycoon.
My mom, she gave it the worst comment that I could think of. She said, we're just not into animated movies.
Oh, I was going to make a joke that it's a lock for best animated feature.
She's right. Yes.
Yeah. So we don't like animated movies. Look, people.
Yeah.
It's great.
That's a reductive way to look at it, but I appreciate the joke.
I'm just so proud of it. I love that you guys had it tied. It worked. It does have cultural significance.
It was tied.
Yeah.
That's a water joke.
If it is an animated movie, it's going to be a hard competition between Puss in Boots and
Pinocchio. Avatar 2 Way of Water.
Absolutely. Keep it rolling. Hit us with your top 4 here, Jacob.
So we had Avatar Way of the Water. Number 4, it's a movie we talked about already a little bit. The Banshees of Inisherin.
Okay.
And Mike, you didn't see it, so let's hit this here.
You can feck off. You can
feck off. Now, Jacob, I am thinking about dropping the I from my name and being Colm or Colm.
Colm. Yeah, Colin. This is set in, I want to say like the 1920s, during a period where Ireland, there's a lot of tensions between Catholics and Protestants. They were just fighting the English to, be independent. Now they're fighting a civil war between the Protestants and the Catholics. And that's kind of the backdrop for this movie. But this is, Martin McDonagh, playwright turned filmmaker, in Bruges, one of my all-time favorite comedies. 3 Billboards, you might have seen that one. That's kind of his most mainstream, maybe. Yeah. But In Bruges also starred Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson, so this is sort of a reunion of that team. And Colin Farrell, such an underrated actor. Can we just talk about Colin Farrell for a minute? I mean, just this year, The Penguin, this movie, which he's now, I think, the favorite to win Best Actor at the Oscars.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe Brendan Fraser. I think it's close between.
I didn't see that.
No, I didn't see The Whale.
None of us saw The Whale. Think about that.
For the Mummy's sake, we owe it to him to watch it after this episode. Brendan deserves it.
That's right.
But yeah.
But Colin Farrell, he was also in another movie called After Yang, which I haven't seen, but he's supposed to be really good in that.
The Thai diving movie, Jacob, 13 Lives.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
So he's killing the game, and people just don't give him enough respect. Like, he's like a great actor. Like, he can do really good acting, and he kind of had like his pretty boy phase in the 2000s. So maybe he doesn't get the respect that he deserves because of that.
And they made him do Bullseye in the phone booth. That didn't help him at all.
He was great.
And never forget that when his sex tape was released, he had his Bullseye shaved head, and that it is a popular sex tape among women because he's so complimentary to his partner the entire time. That's what a nice guy he is.
Great guy, Colin Farrell. And listen,
goes 2 ways.
I love him as Bullseye. Daredevil might not be a very good movie, but he's a great villain in that movie.
Riding that motorcycle, throwing shit
is incredible. You guys are going to talk about Batman, but let me just say, Mike, we gave a bit about the plot of it's 2 people. Jacob just said, if you really want to put this metaphor on it, it's like, well, it's the Catholics and the Protestants. Like, why did they just stop being friends one day? Why did they start killing each other? But I think Martin McDonagh really just is like, it's really interesting to just have a conversation of, can you cut someone out of your life? Or what if your friend is the manifestation of your bad habits? Like, Jacob, what if I was having a conversation with, I'm overweight and the fat part of me, and just saying, like, you have to go away now. Like, you cannot be a part of me anymore because you're killing me, and like, I deserve better. Like, that other part of you, like, doesn't want you to be like wrong and messed up, but like, getting rid of it has its repercussions. So I just think it's just this, like, it's like you said, he's a playwright, and he's just a writer who like looks at life and goes like, well, I can really mine a great story out of like any concept. So I'm just amazed by that.
Yeah, and it's a very actorly kind of, like you said, like it's a play kind of movie where it's not a lot of action, but it's a lot of scenes between characters, and it's a little understated. It's a dark comedy. It gets pretty dark, but it's still very funny as well, and it remains like funny throughout the whole movie.
Shout out Jenny the donkey.
Some great animal actors. We got miniature donkey, and it's just rural Ireland, great locations, and I think it's going to win a lot of, or maybe not win, but the whole cast is going to be nominated for best supporting actress, best like the 4 main stars are probably all going to, maybe not Barry Keoghan, but
we'll see. So
we'll see. Yeah. So definitely recommend that you can watch that on HBO Max. And I just love Martin McDonagh. He's just such an interesting writer to me.
Nice. I'll have to throw that on the old HBO Max, The Irish Lads.
And if you haven't seen In Bruges, I would also watch that, because that's great.
That's a must.
Okay.
And that's also Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson. Ray Fiennes.
You'll just be laughing your ass off, Mike. Yeah, Mike, if you're on a Ray Fiennes kick right now, throw on In Bruges tonight. You're gonna have.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
chef.
you know
Yeah, I'm not
throw
sure if it's
on
available on
Deathly
streaming.
Hallows Part 1.
Oh, jeez.
High recommendation. I don't know if
And
you've ever
stop
heard of
there.
it. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Don't watch part 2. But Colin, did we get your 5?
We got my 5. Do we?
Oh, we're on 4 now.
Yeah.
I believe.
All right.
Got everyone's 5.
Can you
What was your
reiterate
five,
your
Colin?
5, Colin?
My 5 was Prey. We finally wrapped it up
That's
with
right.
Prey. We knocked your guys out. You tied with Way of Water, of course.
Correct.
right.
Jacob, I think that was a perfect number 4. Mike, give us your number 4.
So this is another Big Eyes, Anya Taylor-Joy. The Northman. The Northman is my number 4.
What a year for.
And on the theming of my list, this is it's a Norse mythology story, right? And we've seen Viking movies and the show Vikings, and it's so badass. It's so cool, right? This is a revenge movie that's like, why are you taking revenge? What are you getting out of it? Like, it's not even a kingdom. It's like a farm with like 12 dudes on it he's fighting for by the end of it. So it's like, what is the cycle of revenge? And, like that whole thing. So it's doing something with the Viking story that would be very easy to macho up and like mines it for some more kind of a thematic and emotional depth. And I think it's really, really strong. Ethan Hawke and Willem Dafoe, Alexander Skarsgård, great cast.
Alexander Skarsgård.
Naked volcano fight.
Yeah. Great year for the Skarsgård family because you got Alexander in this.
Stellan.
You got Bill, his brother, in Barbarian.
Oh,
that's
and then
right.
You got Stellan in
Wow.
Andor. Yeah.
So
Man,
Anya Taylor-Joy
Jacob,
and
right.
the Skarsgård family and Colin Farrell are doing great right now.
That's right.
Hooray.
Those Europeans.
But yeah, Robert Eggers, who
she's
directed
pretty
The Northman, also did The Vivitch and
Right,
The Lighthouse. And I'm
right.
a big fan of all his movies so far. He has a very singular vision, I think, that I like.
Yeah,
Mike, we talked about the video game nature, right? Did you like that?
For Northman?
Yeah, just sort of like the adventure of he's getting a sword, he's meeting Odin, he's going
Oh,
on this
yeah.
quest.
There's a
Yeah,
little
it's
bit of a
basically
Dark Soul
Assassin's
vibe.
Creed Valhalla.
Yeah, but
movie.
it's grounded because it's like it's not the epic stakes. You don't get the kingdom, and it's like if anything, you get a farm and like 10
But-
kills. Good for you.
But visually, Mike, it does involve 2 naked men fighting by a volcano, wrestling each other.
That's how I wanted the Revenge of the Sith to have ended. We're doing way better.
Take your clothes off, Anakin.
That's right. We must say it's a metaphor. They're emotionally, fully vulnerable. The truth is out, and that's why
They're
they're not
in
wearing
Valhalla.
clothes. Yeah, good job, Robert Eggers. But yeah,
Good
The
job.
Northman, and I think I would pair it with a movie I like, The Green Knight. They're not the same creators, but I think that's a good,
Totally.
fun double feature of
Yeah.
things that twist.
Similar movies, both excellent. That was, Green Knight was very high on my list last year.
That's a twist on Arthurian lore. This is a twist on Norse lore. I just like them both. So that's my number 4, The Old Northman. Yeah.
I'll hit the number 4 here. Look, James Cameron returned after forever to make a new movie, and he's my hero. It's great to have like an older statesman filmmaker to come back. Bums me out that he's only going to make one type of movie going forward.
Mm-hmm.
With this other guy, George R.
George R.
I
Martin.
almost said George R. Martin. With George Miller, same deal.
Mm.
It seemed
we
like he was
love
only
George
going to do
Miller.
Mad Maxes. Instead, he came back this year. He did 3,000 Years of Longing. This Tilda Swinton, Idris Elba, what I consider a masterpiece.
Wow.
I don't think either of you guys caught it.
No.
It's on my list. I've watched so
Hard
many
to
movies just
find,
the past
though.
week trying to catch up, but it's
Yeah.
it's one I want to watch eventually.
I'm a big George Miller fan, and beyond Mad Max, Happy Feet, Babe, Pig in the City. So he does do other stuff, and
He's got his visual style, Mike, and this
Yeah.
film carries through with that. It has the Mad Max energy, but it has the Babe, Pig in the City love aspect.
That'll do.
Of just like fantasy delight. And I won't talk about it too much, but there's the line in the movie of like, if you don't know what a woman's heart desires, then you never will. And just like, if you don't know what's good about this movie, you never will. Like, even if you
Oh.
watch it and you don't like it, I think it's just attuned to a certain type of person. And it just hit me when I was in such a way. So I high recommend. If you find this thing and love it, I hope you do vibe with it.
It'll be Ray Fiennes
Yeah, I'm waiting
and
for it
George
to-
Miller for my viewing the next week.
There you go. I'm waiting for it to become available on a streaming service or something. Unfortunately, another movie that didn't do very well at the box office. They really
Yeah.
tried to market it, and no one went to see it in
No,
theaters.
This-
nobody. Lasted a
if you-
week.
No, it feels like this type of movie, as had been predicted, is slowly dying in theaters. And
Yeah, and it was kind of a hard sell. Like I watched the trailer, I was like, it looks good, but I don't. It's not a rush out to the theater for me.
I would
at
have
least.
watched it if it was on streaming already. That's the other thing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have access, so. But Idris Elba, Sonic 2, and 3,000
Mike,
Years of
let's
Longing.
just say, like, what's going to happen to him this year? Because this film bombed. I'm not positive him fighting a lion was the thing that made the most sense.
He's not
Oh man,
I like Idris Elba a lot as an actor.
He's
I don't
not
think
a movie star.
No, he can't sell a movie by himself. I think that's kind of been
Suicide Squad bombed too, Jacob. It's a liked movie, but what do we do here?
He's not Will Smith. They tried to replace Will Smith with him in the Suicide Squad.
You just unlocked him for me, and you're 100% right. They have tried to be like, Will's gone. We've got you.
But I didn't see that lion movie either. That was his big like, I'm gonna fight this lion and.
I ended up watching Ghost in the Darkness, but I did not watch that. That's a double feature
great movie,
too.
Mike.
Yeah, this Irish too. You get Val Kilmer's this Irish bridge builder guy. Yeah. But no, I'll have to 3,000 Years of Longing. It needs to come. George Miller. It's a bummer. Yeah, and Idris Elba too. I think he's really talented. I wish his movies.
We're diagramming we're losing a lot of movie stars this year. I'm noticing with the things that we're saying. So I'm
the
curious
age
if that
of
will
movie
carry
stars
over.
Is over, I think, except for a select few. Like, Scorsese and Tarantino, they kind of bag on MCU and superhero movies a lot, but I think they do have a point in that, like, you don't sell movies with stars anymore. You sell them with characters. You sell them with Superman, Batman, Captain America.
Is Bullet Train in any of our top 10? Brad Pitt, is it disappearing away?
I watched
Johnny
that movie
Depp is gone
too.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we're losing him more and more. Leo is kind of the only one we got left.
Well, that's the thing, is that era they're aging out, and there's no, like, Tom Holland. Is he like the new Tom Cruise? I don't think so, but
no, Uncharted. It's like you can't.
Yeah,
anything he's
people
done
know
that's
him
not
as
Spider-Man, no one's ever watched.
Exactly.
I saw him face off against Batman in a religious belief battle in Ohio.
Right.
And I can't remember the name of that movie.
Nobody watched that.
I did. But yeah,
Devil
no one
All
else
the
did.
Time, maybe?
Devil All the
Is that what it's
Time.
called?
Cherry is another movie that he was in that didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So
Uncharted, how dare you? Our favorite film. I want to see, do we have any movie stars in our top 3? Let's transition to our top 3 here.
All right.
Wow.
Well, I'll transition from the Spider-Man facing the Batman to just say my number 3 is the Batman. The Batman.
My number 10, or actually my honorable mention, my number 12.
And Colin, this didn't make yours.
It wasn't on mine. Didn't make it too long, Mike. Please
tell
us.
It is very long, but I think on the theme of things that are doing interesting things with the genre, they made the best Batman movie. Everyone said it. He's actually a detective. This Dark Knight's a great movie, but it's more the Joker's carrying it. In this one, it's the Batman, and we're learning about Bruce Wayne and his trauma. Like, it's the most interesting character study of the Batman character. And Bruce Wayne and ignoring his responsibilities as a billionaire. So it's long, and Colin Farrell, like MVP, Zoe Kravitz, Mad Max, George Miller, it's all connected. Love it. Paul Dano, we love it, right? So I think it's just it's the best Batman movie, in my opinion. And it's like, I appreciate the tone, and that car chase is insane. So yeah, the Batman, number 3, good job.
Is Robbie my second favorite movie star?
I think he's
people showing up for
trying to be.
He's closer than most. I think
Timothy Chalamet's
Adam Driver is another one that I was thinking of. Okay. But even he's like a non-traditional movie star in that he doesn't have like the classic good looks. Like, he's not a bad looking guy, but he's different looking than a lot of movie stars, right?
We'll see if people show up to turn.
Adam Driver. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Adam Driver's he's a little bit different, but I don't know. Batman.
He's doing his big dinosaur movie. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's Dino Crisis 3. They just went ahead and made Dino Crisis 3.
Like, come
the
on.
one with
but
sci-fi.
Pattinson I do like a lot because he does a lot of weird kind of out of left turn choices where he's doing weird like independent movies and art movies.
Devil All the Time was a weird. I think he did great in that movie. Just nobody saw it.
Yeah. So I like Pattinson.
Yeah, I like Pattinson too. Paul Dano again, great. So if there's no other thoughts,
have you rewatched it,
3.
Mike?
I haven't yet. I
haven't either.
Really
it's my second favorite Batman after The Dark Knight.
Right.
For me.
Oh, really?
I think that again, The Dark Knight's good because of the Joker.
Yes,
this
I agree
Batman is untouchable. like nobody's played Batman who does as good as Pattinson. Plus, he's emo. It's like perfect for me. He's got his eyeliner.
Emo Batman.
I love it. He's so sad.
He listens to Nirvana.
That's right.
Drives around on his motorcycle. Yeah.
It's sad.
Brooding.
Watches a woman undress for the first time, probably ever.
Which he's the perfect millennial Batman.
Great.
He's the first millennial to play
he
Batman.
Hates sex.
Yeah.
Right. I just want to solve crime.
Yeah. Leave me alone.
Yep.
All right, I can jump in with my number 3 here.
Yep.
Now, this movie, it was my number 2 for a long time, most of the year, until recently I saw my new number 2, which kind of bumped it down a slot, but I do feel bad because I do think it's a great movie. But my number 3, and this is a movie that I literally saw like a year ago now, or almost a year ago. This came out in the early 2022. It's called Everything Everywhere All the Time.
Wow.
All of the time.
Oh, yeah. Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
There we go.
EEAAO. Now, this movie, like I said, came out in early 2022. This one was it's really good. It's stars Michelle Yeoh, obviously. I mean, well, let me ask you guys: have you seen this movie at all?
I literally just saw it over vacation, Jacob.
Wow.
I have not. I want to. It's not on streaming unless you pay like $20 to get it.
Showtime.
Right.
Yeah, so maybe I'll have to do another Showtime trial. But I want to see it. I've heard nothing but good stuff out of it. Everybody has seen it.
This movie is
highly.
Directed by 2 guys named Daniel Scheinert and Daniel Kwan, also known as the Daniels. They made a movie called Swiss Army Man with Daniel Radcliffe and Paul Dano, where Daniel Radcliffe played a dead body, and it's kind of wacky and stuff. This movie is also very wacky, but also very heartfelt and a lot of emotions. And I like, feeling emotions. But Michelle Yeoh, obviously the starring role, Jamie Lee Curtis, and her husband is played by Ke-Huy Quan, who was Short Round in Indiana Jones.
God.
Right. It's like he hasn't been in hardly anything, right? He
was like retired from acting for like 20 years. Also in The Goonies. He's back. He plays Michelle Yeoh's husband. Stephanie Sue plays their daughter. But basically,
great performance.
It's hard to even describe what this movie is about, but it's about basically multiverses and family drama, and it's just really good. I mean, I don't even know what to say about this movie, but I really liked it.
Yeah. From what I understand, it's like exploring kind of the generational disconnect between the family members, but it's then they have a multiverse wacky thing going, but it's about family at its heart, and I hear
absolutely. So it sort of uses this multiverse concept to kind of explore this family. Michelle Yeoh is basically the owner of a dry cleaning business, and she kind of sees what her life could have been like in different scenarios where she didn't marry her husband and do different, pursue different life paths. Basically, every time you make a decision in your life, a multiverse, it splits, and there's a different universe where you made the other choice. And so she can kind of see all her different universes making different choices and what would have happened, that kind of thing. It's a lot of fun. It's wacky. It's it's made by kind of filmmakers that came up on like YouTube and like just ADD editing and just all kinds of crazy stuff going on. I didn't love all of it. There were some things like they keep returning to a lot of the bits, like maybe too many times, where it's like, we don't need to see this bit again. Like, we get it. But overall, I thought it was really, really good.
I dare you say that about Raccacoonie.
Raccacoonie, yeah. Hot dog fingers.
2 filmmakers who have stayed out of the superhero machine, and I think we're all excited to continue to see do weird stuff, like the Turn Down for What Flava Flav video, which is, of course, sort of their calling card as well.
Yeah, T-Pain.
Yeah. For that video, it's very iconic.
Turned Out for What, they did the music video for that. That's kind of where they came up from making music videos like that. And they just kind of have their own wacky sensibility. And I think this movie was A24 produced, so they kind of let them do their thing. They stayed out of the MCU, although this movie has sort of got a following of, and I don't want to look down on like hardcore Marvel fans, but it seems like a lot of Marvel fans watch this particular film and was like, all right, this is like the one independent movie or whatever that I'm going to watch this year.
I like that.
And it's got kind of this rabid fan base now online that's similar to the MCU. Nothing against the MCU. But I think this movie maybe is a little overrated at this point, but I do think it's really strong. Number 3 on the year for me. Obviously.
That is amazing.
So, yeah.
It's on my list.
And some great action, some great action choreography and stuff in really surprising ways. So, yeah.
Nice. And Colin, you got your number 3?
Let's finish up talking about A Little Wooden Boy. It's a Pinocchio. Look, this would have been my number 1, except for the fact that it's a story we've all seen over and over. If it wasn't for the fact that this is literally the 9th Pinocchio I've seen in my life.
One, right? That's what's number 3.
There was like 3 Pinocchios that came out just this year.
Just this year. And do you guys remember the Jonathan Taylor Thomas one that horrified us as youth?
Yes. Wow.
Boy.
No, I never saw that.
Wow. That has haunted me till this day.
I have a therapy session coming up now. Thanks.
I don't love the character Pinocchio, Mike. So that speaks to the strength of this film, that exactly how Jacob said, this sort of surrealist, fascist Italian history trip that we go through, featuring mainly British actors like Ewan McGregor as, of course, the Jiminy Cricket-esque stand-in.
Yeah, I think he's called Sebastian the Cricket in this.
Sebastian J. Cricket.
Nice.
It's one of a kind. Yeah.
Yeah. The fascist Italy setting is interesting because it's like, all right, he's a puppet, but he famously has no strings, but he's born into this society where everyone's sort of acting like a puppet and blindly obeying their leader, Mussolini, who's in this movie as well.
Mike
Wild.
Geppetto, who at one point gets drunk and curses God for taking his son from him and screams at a tree and turns it into this little boy.
Wow.
Is asked at one point by our little puppet. Geppetto is a carpenter who is working on a new figure of Christ, our Savior, our Lord, a new cross for the church.
Yeah.
Pinocchio asks, Father, why did they like this wooden man but not me?
Yes.
And you're just like, my God.
He points to the cross in church and says, like, why do they like this wooden boy but not me?
Loves him.
It is that it sounds heavy-handed. But again, Guillermo del Toro, who is a Mexican man who grew up just thinking that fascism is the worst thing that could ever happen. And you just have to be like, God bless you for thinking that, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And del Toro, he's quoted as saying, the character I most identify with in the world is Pinocchio. So he's always wanted to make Pinocchio.
Wow.
He just feels this affinity to this character. And
that's why he walked away from The Hobbit. They're not going to be pulling his strings. No, sir.
That's right.
Wow. How about that?
I would assume Best Animated Feature. Now, this is entering that territory where I feel like he gets to do whatever he wants to do because of Shape of Water. Like, he has proved to people, like, I have a weird audience, and, like, they show up for my stuff. And, like, even though Hellboy bombed, it's, like, cult following where they sell like 1 billion Blu-rays of it and merch like a year and stuff. And like Ron Perlman's like still doing voices in this, Mike. Like, I just wonder where this could take him if it does come with the success that I truly think it will. And I think it has been for Netflix, where like Jacob, like I see him entering this new like Spielberg territory where it's like he is not even just a modern auteur, he's a modern brand of like, well, if Guillermo del Toro produces something like DreamWorks used to, then people will go to it because, like, you can trust that, like, he's a crazy artist and you'll be seeing something one of a kind.
Like a Tim Burton in his heyday.
He's moving into that stage where, like, if his name's on it, it generally means it's going to be something he's really interested in. It's going to be good. And, he doesn't have to do the one for them, one for me. He does one for me now. Basically, everyone
seems like
all for me.
But he still, he had that film noir one last year that got an Oscar nomination.
Yeah.
So good job, Guillermo.
Will we ever see In the Mouse of Madness, Mike? Will we ever get to see some weird stuff?
He's got to be able to take a crack at Cthulhu.
Some Lovecraft,
yeah, man.
Will he get to release Cthulhu?
Yes.
Also, just want to say about the cast is great in this as well, and specifically Kate Blanchett, who might pop up again in my list, foreshadowing.
Well, Jacob, pairing Tilda Swinton and Kate Blanchett as sisters in a movie, you just go like, why haven't we done that in every movie?
Right.
That's
but in Pinocchio, Kate Blanchett plays the monkey, Spazzatura, right? And she wanted to do a voice in this, and she's like, Guillermo, let me act in it. She's like, all right, well, I've already cast all the parts except for the monkey. She's like, I'll do that. So she basically just makes monkey sounds for the whole movie, and it's great. Yeah,
it's like the George Clooney dog from South Park, like a legendary.
Yeah.
Small role. That's very fun. So that's number 3.
That's all our top 3s.
Wow. Well, did we dive into the
what was your top 3,
2?
Mike?
My third was the Batman.
Okay, yeah.
That's right.
Well, I can go into my top.
Go ahead.
My second. Speaking of Kate Blanchett, like I
alluded,
said,
yeah.
Let's roll with her.
An actress that I am a big fan of. She was in a little movie called Tar. Now, this movie, I don't know if you heard of it. This is kind of, if you remember last year, I liked a movie called Drive My Car. It was a 3-hour Japanese drama. This is kind of this year's Drive My Car to me, where it's like, it's not going to be for everyone. I wouldn't recommend it to everyone because it's a not quite 3 hour, but like 2.5 hour movie. It's a very slow drama. It's a character study, and it's very wordy, and it's very patient. It's a very patient movie, but you have to be patient to watch it. And so it's not going to be for everyone. If you don't like that kind of movie, you're probably not going to like this. But Kate Blanchett freaking kills it in this role. Probably a career-defining role for her, to me. We get all these, we have, Daniel Plainview, Daniel Day-Lewis kind of disappearing into these crazy roles. Joaquin Phoenix, they get to, always go method and just go into these roles. There's not a lot of roles for women like that. And I think Kate Blanchett, this is her Daniel Plainview, where she just disappears into this role. She's in almost like every frame of this movie. It's just a character-driven piece about Lydia Tarr, who is as we all know, a famous conductor we've all heard of. She won an EGOT. Lydia Tarr.
I have yet to meet Lydia Tarr. Mike, have you seen this movie?
No, this completely flew under my radar. Like, I had no idea that this was a thing. But so it's a very dramatic kind of...
Conductor gets canceled movie. Does this have mainstream appeal, Jacob? It's supposedly a front runner. Let me ask you this real quick. Best actress, is it her or the last film you talked about? Is it Michelle Yeoh?
Well, that's interesting. As for a long time for this year, I thought Michelle Yeoh was going to be a lock, but I think it's got to be Kate Blanchett at this point.
Oh my God!
Wow.
This role,
upset.
She's so good in this role, and like I said, male actors get to do these kind of roles all the time. There's just not a lot of roles for women like that, and I think it's a complicated role because it's a character who you're not sure if you're how much you're supposed to be rooting for, because like you said, it's got that sort of cancel culture commentary on it. She's a lesbian composer who has possibly been exchanging sexual relationship for favors within that universe, because she's a very powerful figure. She can kind of make people's careers in the conducting business, I guess. And this was directed by Todd Field, who hasn't made a movie in almost 20 years. The last movie he made was Little Children. And it's crazy that he hasn't made a movie in so long, again, like George Miller, because this movie is just so well made. Like the cinematography, the framing, the editing, the sound design, like it's all so meticulously done. And like,
he's kind of the new Terrence Malick, huh, Jacob? He's this sort of like just iconic, I'll come in, goodbye.
Seems like it, yeah. I don't know why he hasn't made a movie. I guess he had this script for a long time. It was like, I wrote this specifically for Kate Blanchett. I'm only going to make it if she is in it. So it just lined up for him. But I think she's now a lock to win Best Actress. So I think it's going to be Kate Blanchett, Colin Farrell. Lock it in.
Wow. Vegas, get your parlays.
That's right. But Tar, like I said,
Avatar,
not for
best
everyone.
Animated feature. Lock
That's
it
right.
in.
Avatar. But yeah,
Nice.
I thought it was great. And if you're a real fan of those kind of movies, this is going to be one where you can really kind of sink your teeth into it and like think about it, and it's just really good.
Yeah,
Avatar, the conductor of water.
That's right. That's right. The way the orchestra, but Cate Blanchett, I mean, obviously incredible actress, so that's
Love
worth
her.
checking out. Just
Yeah,
see her crush it for 3 hours. Like that's cool.
absolutely.
Colin, do we have your next on your list? Your number 2?
I want to go. What I'm gonna say is my best actress fight. Look, I don't think it's a realistic nomination, but a star has risen this year. Okay, and that is Jenna Ortega. And Wednesday's great. That's the home run. That's like people know your name now. Okay.
Yeah.
Scream, Bit Roll, X. We all talked about it. Like she's a wonderful part of that, but I really think Mia Goth is
kind of a minor part
star.
as well.
Yeah. Although, you know, seeing somebody sort of open up in their life, that's great. My top of this year for number 2 is Fallout, which is this direct to HBO, another one of these sort of things that got lost in streaming. It came out right after like the second weekend of Scream, so she was getting like a little buzz off that. I feel like a lot of people have not seen this film, but it is a film about a young woman who survives a school shooting and the journey that she goes on after that. And like, I just like it's not a film I'm ever going to watch again, but it's just like nothing I've ever seen in this performance of a young lady who like has to like lose her life just because of surviving something that we've just normalized, and it's just so horrible. And I'm not saying she kills herself or anything, but the end. But you just watch someone like deal with that trauma in a way that I really think is realistic.
Yeah, I did. I've heard of this movie, and I watched the trailer and stuff, and it's definitely on my list to watch. And I watched the scene where they're in the bathroom and like the school shooting like happens, and I just watched that whole scene on YouTube, and I was like,
my God,
wild. And it
reminds me of there's a Gus Van Sant movie, Elephant, which is about the Columbine shooting. Basically, reminded me of that.
Yeah, horrible.
How terrible that this is a genre that we can explore in the United States of America, right?
Yes.
And it's gotten the stories much worse than even when, you know, Columbine was the late 90s. It's only gotten worse, really.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So
I can't even imagine.
That's a whole other can of worms. But yeah, the being able to tell the story of a survivor with, you know, getting through trauma, what the toll that takes, right? Worthwhile film to be made. And, you know, the performance is good, as you're saying, Colin. Worth checking out.
Absolutely. Mike, let's hear your number 2.
So we mentioned this a lot earlier on. It is also chock full of great performances. The Skarsgårds, you know, Barbarian, my number 2 of the year. I absolutely love Barbarian. Can't talk too much about it, but it is excellent, excellent, excellent. It's a good subversion of a lot of horror tropes, and that's all I'll say. It's very clever. And for my top 5, I just wanted stuff that was subverting my expectations or the expectations of their genre. And they did that.
Why does it stick with you too, Mike?
Without going into it too much, it's like just the commentary, like the stuff that it makes you think about, you know, who can we trust, blah, blah, blah. Like that kind of stuff. It's very, very cool. Yeah. So, yeah, totally. I loved it.
I think that was on all of our... Well, let's see. How many movies were on all... Before we get to the number 1.
Oh, yeah, that's a great... Yeah,
I had 12.
Spoiler alert. We all have the same number 1, right?
Right. But you're going to have to wait.
But how many of these other movies are on all 3 of
Prey was on all of ours, and Barbarian. Was that just the 2?
The Batman was a honorable mention.
Batman wasn't on all 3.
Wasn't on mine.
Onion.
So only 2.
I think only 2.
Glass Onion was on. Nope.
Avatar.
You didn't have it on it. I didn't have Avatar on.
Nope. It's too long.
How could you betray Big Jim?
So Barbarian and our number 1. That's it.
Wild. Which we both talked about on this. Well, we haven't talked about Barbarian, I guess, not really.
Well,
we can't really.
Skipped over it, yeah.
Because everybody who hasn't seen it, like, normally I don't care about spoilers.
Yeah.
But like this one, if you haven't seen it, watch it. I'm still keeping the spoiler wall up for it. Exactly. Yeah. You're the exception. But
that means we're on to our number 1. And like I said, we all have the same number 1.
We do. Now, we didn't plan on that. We have discussed it on this podcast before. It's just something that hit us. Do we want to say, boys? What is our number 1?
3, 2, 1. Nope.
Nope. No, I don't want to
That's
say
right.
Nope. No,
No,
tell me
no,
the name.
I will not
Nope.
say no.
What's your favorite type of
It's
Japanese theater? No.
Nope.
No. Anyway. Nope.
Jordan Peele's Nope.
That's right. Spoilers for this a bit, but yeah. Number one for all of us. Colin, what do you love about it? Why is it number one?
One of a kind. We did an episode on it. You go in, you're like, it's not even like I know what this is, that you're expecting something. You have an idea of what kind of movie you maybe think it is. And then you're just blown away in the little transformation of the thing in front of you, turning this whole movie into something you would just never imagine. I really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think Jordan Peele, he uses symbolism in his movies on another level directors are doing nowadays, especially for like a blockbuster of this level, where it's like you're not seeing that kind of symbolism in whatnot in like a Transformers or in a Marvel movie. It's it's the singular vision of a director that I like, like Spielberg with Jaws, sort of continuing on that tradition. And I've been thinking a lot, like, is this his best movie so far? Like Get Out was a cultural had a lot of cultural significance, kind of put him on the map. It was a big hit.
Yep.
And I think that's like a 5 out of 5 for me. But I'm starting to think Nope is like actually his best movie now.
I agree.
It's more dense, it almost feels like, which is crazy to think about with Get Out. Like it's dealing with
like Get Out was a great debut.
Yeah, yeah.
Nope, he's like matured as a filmmaker since Get Out.
Yeah, and I think for people like us who are like film nerds, or we went to film school, we've worked in the industry in some capacity, there's something to the attention to detail with this being also a movie about filmmaking to a degree.
Yeah.
And crew members, people below the line, being heralded as the heroes, the little people, let's say. We talk a lot about our archer directors, but this movie is a love letter to the crew, and I think that's why it sticks with me too. Also, it's a great story. Yeah.
Now, spoilers again, so skip 2 minutes, let's say, if you don't want to hear it. Yeah. But Gordy, a character I won't say too much more about, but a character we know and love. I have seen some people and some critics say like, well, that should have been its own movie. I don't understand why there's a jean jacket and then there's the Gordy stuff. Once again, like Jacob just said this thing about symbolism. You're not understanding the whole story if you're not looking at how every piece adds up together. And, Ricky Jupe Park, Jupiter Park, all that stuff. Yep. There are, to talk about a glass onion again, this is a movie that you can just peel and peel and peel away. Jordan Peele away. Yes.
I love it.
It's just so great.
Yeah. He makes the kind of movie where you're thinking about it the next day. You got your theories. You got your, it's like, it's a movie that sticks with you and you can just really continue to think about it. And that's what I really appreciate about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it does all connect together. Like Colin's saying, the Gordy's home and stuff. It's spectacle and control. Like, they're horse trainers. So it's like, these are wild animals we're dealing with. How much control do you have? And don't look in the lens either of a camera. It's very thematic, right?
You got characters you're never gonna forget, like OJ and Hoist Antlers. These crazy characters. You've got a script you can't get over. Angel, then you've got Hoyt van Hoytema, cinematographer of all time. I mean, a guy who works a lot for Tarantino, but mainly for Nolan now. Again, we talked about it, developing IMAX cameras to shoot at night. This movie looks like nothing you've ever goddamn seen before, which is exactly what Jean Jacket looks like. It's like, I just can't get over this thing.
It's literally nothing you've ever seen before because the lenses were invented for it. It's crazy. Yeah, the technology for filmmaking has been developed for this movie about filmmaking. You love to see it.
It came out I feel like people aren't talking about it anymore. It came out too early or something. I don't know if it was the Christmas time, if this was a bit before Avatar, if it was Thanksgiving and we were leading into it, I feel like it would have hit the billion too, guys. I don't know.
It should have been a bigger hit. I don't know why. I don't know if it's like some people didn't get into it, I guess. I mean, I know Logan Paul didn't get into it because he had this scathing review of it where he didn't understand anything. But that's kind of the point. Shocking. Is that like, you got to think about these movies, and this should be the biggest hit of the year, not Top Gun to me.
This gives you the most to think about as even as a consumer, like what are you a party to in the entertainment industry, right? It brings up a lot of questions, and the subversion for the final part of my theme is, this is spoilers, guys, but maybe the marketing, they just, it's just a UFO movie. I've been there, done that. To take the UFO and just make it a big creature, fucking brilliant. I loved it. And I would have never thought of that. It's so simple, Jordan Peele, you son of a bitch, you've done it. So, yeah. Good work.
Yeah, it's great. I don't know, with these movies, you can't even really talk about box office anymore because so many movies like come out on streaming, and like who knows what a successful movie is anymore. If if it's a good movie to you, then I think it's successful. And I just hope that Hollywood, sees the light and prioritizes art over commerce, which they never will, but it's just a hope that I can have,
Right. I think at least we could be heartened with the diversity of our lists and the kind of variety of filmmakers and types of films that were released this year on it's a lot of different platforms, and some even in theaters. So
totally,
we're spoiled for choice, and at least those films are getting made, more artsy stuff or more character-driven stuff. It's out there. Maybe they're not going to pull down box office, but I think at least we're getting product that is good. Hopefully that continues, but yeah.
Now, with Nope, I wonder if this will get an Oscar nomination for Best Picture. I hope it would. I mean, with 10 nominees, I think Avatar will. I think Top Gun is a good bet to be nominated.
Really?
Banshees, Tar will probably be nominated. But I think the favorite, I mean, what could the favorite even be right now? The Fabelmans will probably get nominated as well.
Yeah. The story stuff where it's like this has a story behind it. That's why I maybe think Michelle Yeoh will take it over Kate Blanchett, Jacob. And I really think that Brendan Fraser, despite the fact that none of us have talked about the Whaler Dunning thing, you have so many celebrities like Adam Sandler coming out and being like, yo, my boy from Airheads, he shook it up. He did something like none of us have ever done before. And I think we will all buy into that.
I want Brendan Fraser to do well because I like the guy, but there's been some backlash for that movie where it's like maybe not the most sensitive to, weight issues and that kind of thing. I don't know. It's gotten some hit or miss kind of reviews. Darren Aronofsky directed, obviously, but
a hit or miss guy.
Yeah. I mean, what do you guys think will win Best Picture, though? Avatar: Way of Water.
That's
Everything Everywhere might be the
Sonic 2
feel good hit.
I think James Cameron's going to win.
Yeah.
I genuinely think he's going to win.
Well, if you remember, the first Avatar lost to Hurt Locker, so it was the sort of low budget indie beating the.
I think they'll say, no, we do need to care about global warming, and if we give this award, we'll look like we care.
I think Everything Everywhere.
I think there might be some politics. Just with the environmentalism of it, but Everything Everywhere, I think, is also a darling.
That's a big crowd favorite.
Yeah.
Banshees is that's maybe the actor nominations will clean up, but maybe not.
Can I be honest with you, Jacob?
Yeah.
Coda has broken my brain because that is like a Disney Channel movie. Where
again, it was a feel-good movie.
But so Green Book, like we are on this path for a while where it's like, God, wouldn't it be great if something was nice in the world? I don't know. I don't know if that's what's going to continue. Like I had somebody remind me where they were like, well, you know that like Jessica Chastain won Best Actress last year for The Eyes of Tammy Faye. And I was like, you're lying. That's not true.
That's true, yeah.
My mind is so corrupted, Mike, by Will Smith's slap that like
nothing has been the same ever since.
Caved in completely, Jacob. And nothing has been the same since, to where I can't predict any of it. And if I truly wild horse, I could see it being Top Gun. I could see everybody being like, you know what? Fuck you. Tom deserves it.
Fuck it. Yeah. I could see that too.
I think it'll be nominated. I think Avatar, Everything Everywhere will be nominated. I don't know. It'll be an interesting, it's a wide open race. Who even knows what the Academy wants anymore? I feel more out of touch with them than ever.
Yes. Parasite was like, I felt like I was like,
that was like a brief respite from bad winners.
This, yeah. But you knew it was part of the culture. You knew it was this other stuff. I don't know. I'll be honest with you guys. we're going to jump now and after our final thoughts, do some just like quick rapid fire recommendations and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm going to talk about one where I'm like, this is the thing that defined the culture this year. And that's it. I don't think
Wednesday.
it was movies, but we'll see.
All right.
It was Wednesday on Netflix.
I'm doing my dance.
Correct. All right. Well, we've talked our top 10 movies for all three of us. Let's jump out. We'll do a little segment on kind of the errata, other things that were cool for 2022. Colin will give us the definitive thing of the culture right after this. Normies Like Us.
We're back here on Normies Like Us. We have talked and talked about what we love this year movies-wise. We gave you more than a top 10. We went through. We gave you some honorable mentions, some hot picks. We gave you our 10 here. We agreed on so much. We differed on so much. We want to hear, of course, from you guys as well. Hit us up as we'll say at the end, as we always do.
Yeah, is there any that we missed that we should check out?
Is there anything like I'll just say RR is on my list. I am going to be watching that soon, and my top 10 can change. This is not in cement here, so I could see that getting added on.
Sure.
Nice. But yeah, we're out here wrapping it up. Maybe we could just do a little rotation into maybe some TV shows or anything like that that was kind of noteworthy. I have to shout out, we made this top 10 list of favorite movies, blah, blah, blah. Nope, Barbarian, Batman, that's kind of my running line, Northman, and Avatar. But there's one thing that's had more of an effect on me than all of those things combined.
Oh, I think I can guess.
And that would be Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Staying at your house.
Yes. That is kind of defined my year. So that's my number one thing. I ended up playing the game and 3D printing. That's been my defining
show
thing.
and game, Mike. Yeah, you're doing a double rec here.
And then I'm reading Neuromancer, that series, and Apple TV is going to make the Neuromancer series filming in 2023. So Cyberpunk Edge Runners was my definitive media property, which led into the game, and then now reading books and etc. So
you're not watching the dongle or whatever Jacob kept recommending.
The peripheral.
The Peripheral.
Not yet.
Written based on the novel by William Gibson. Yeah. No, I haven't seen that either. But
I just rewatched the original Ghost in the Shell and the Scarlett Johansson one. I can only recommend one.
Video games for the year, Mike. Cyberpunk 100%. I've had so much fun texting you guys and friend of the show Cole about that game, but then I'm also going to go with Elden Ring.
Oh heck yeah, game of the year
to me. Game of the year.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't play that many in terms of games like new releases. I usually wait until they're on sale unless I really want to play them. So the only new release this year that I really got my hands on was Elden Ring, and I enjoyed that a lot. And I got into Cyberpunk again this year as well, even though that's a 2020 game. So yeah, shout out Cyberpunk, shout out Elden Ring.
Edge Runners, you saved the game.
Edge Runners,
good work.
Heard that song a lot this year, Mike. Look,
it was my number one most played song in Spotify Wrapped. Confirmed. It was
that doesn't surprise me.
Not at all.
I got
modded
Christmas
the
gifts
game
based
so
off
you
of
could
that.
drive around and only hear that song. Maybe you didn't say that on this podcast.
I wanted it to be like real life, because when I drive around, I only listen to that song now. But yeah, that was the most influential show that led into a lot of other things. Also, another show, Rings of Power. Stop existing.
Stop.
Wow.
You guys didn't even finish it.
Feelings.
Don't hurt us.
No.
But then Game of Thrones was good, right? We liked that one.
Yeah, we loved Game of Thrones this year.
Hot D.
Yep.
My shows, I had 5 shows that I jotted down, but they're all shows that we've pretty much talked about on this podcast.
Yeah.
Hot D, Andor.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Star Trek: Strange New Worlds.
Definitely shout that out. Answer them out.
Yes.
And
I want to pause you right there, Jacob.
Yeah.
You just hit on the head what I think is the most cultural thing this year for 2022. Let's talk about Stranger Things just for another second. We've talked about it enough on this podcast. Look, you guys joked and you said Wednesday. Yes, blah, blah, blah. Everything's come out about the number 2 most streamed seconds per dog views. I don't give a shit about any of that.
Right.
Okay, throw it away. Doesn't matter. The culture of when people do those TikToks of them doing the Jenna Ortega dance, they don't do it to the song in the show, the Goo Goo Muck song. They do it to this Lady Gaga Bloody Mary song. What is it?
Yeah, I don't like that.
For some reason, that shows you that doesn't permeate the culture in the same way that it's trying to emulate the Kate Bush moment. We all experienced for 3 months our radio became the 80s again when people are like, well, obviously we're all watching Stranger Things, and obviously this Kate moment, just like the Bush herself, just like she changed our lives. And it's like, no, this song's been around forever, but it
was like Gen Z discovering that song.
But even it was 40-year-old people rediscovering who they used to be. It was, it was parents being like, man, like that Max, she's a great actor. And here she is in The Whale too. Like
that's right.
It's
Sadie Sink.
It became, I mean, you had commercials and stuff doing like them, like people like at Best Buy, like running in like slow motion as like a weird like zombie guy chase them, and like you
can
like,
go on
running
TikTok
up the hills playing
and see about 1 million pop punk covers and all kinds of different covers of this song. Became very popular to cover.
It's amazing.
My number 2 Spotify rap song was Running Up That Hill, Kate Bush. That's not true, but if there was a song of the year,
yes,
my taste notwithstanding, Running Up That Hill is the song of the year.
From 1984.
Right. Crazy, right? But I think you're totally
it's like nostalgia reigns supreme. We got a Top Gun sequel, was the biggest movie of the year.
Yes.
And the biggest show of the year was a show about how the 80s were awesome.
You're so right, Jake. We said it on the spot. We cracked the code where we said our generation has nothing to go back to because it's always been bad. So what we prefer to look at is like, what if like it was just called the 80s? And you're like, you mean like 1982? Like, no. I just mean 80'S. 80s.
All of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And now look, they had, that 70s show. They're bringing that back, that 90s show.
Oh, man.
So it's really just
January 19th on Netflix.
Don't. I know exactly what I'm watching on January 19th.
I don't want to, but I will.
It's a cycle of nostalgia that'll continue forever. In 20 years, we'll be talking about the Wednesday reboot starring a new star, rising
Jenna
star.
Ortega's Granny.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Sonic, Mario's nostalgic for people. That's still a thing.
Yeah. So
let's do an upcoming. Yes. I'm looking forward to the Mario movie more than anything. I think that looks great.
Wow.
I hope Chris Pratt does a good job. I'm going to watch it. I think everything else looks right. Everything else about it is good. Jack Black looks like he's crushing it. Just try a little harder.
Best part.
Oh, yeah.
I think I think Jack Black's the best part.
I love his voice.
You know what movie didn't make my list? Jurassic World Dominion. Because that movie sucks.
No.
Fuck off.
Well, what I like...
Pratt. It's not his fault.
Yeah. The Mario trailer, I liked it a lot because it has so many kind of deep cut references to Mario games where you're like, oh wow, it's not just going to be like a generic movie with some Mario stuff in it. Like they really want to make like a Mario movie. So
having the music goes a long way.
No, and like Sonic is like, all right, we'll put him in the real world, right, and do it that way. This is like the most. It seems like a pretty accurate depiction of Mushroom Kingdom. Yeah, like they're trying.
Kart racing. Yeah.
Joe's gonna be so mad that it doesn't have Leguizamo.
Will there be a post-cred scene with anyone else from the Nintendo universe, or I guess will it just stay Mario?
Hey,
no, it's gonna be the
Mario,
90s Mario
my
Brother
name's
guys.
Link.
I'm Samus.
Yeah, Samus, we need your help. Star
Donkey
Fox.
Kong's in it.
Donkey Kong's
Mike,
in it.
what if Star Fox was in it at the end?
Well, there's that scene in the trailer where it's like
Cinematic Universe.
Thousands of worlds out there.
The NCU is going to happen.
It's like Kingdom Hearts, Jacob.
I'm sure they would love that.
Crazy.
Man.
Yeah.
Don't bring that up.
Anything else? You guys excited for anything?
Go ahead, Jacob, if you got some.
No, you go ahead.
It's the thing I'm most excited for. It's a video game. It's from the Elden Ring people. It's Armored Core 6. It's going to be awesome.
Mike gets his From Software fix.
This is my dream. I've been playing those since the PlayStation 2 era. I played the PlayStation 1 as well. Like, I've been playing the Armored Core games for a long time.
Very hard controls.
Yeah, I'm going to play it with a flight stick because that's going to be really cool. But and that's the Miyazaki who created Demon's Souls, Dark Souls. He's now the president of From Software. The first game he worked on when he got hired at FromSoft is just like a development guy, was an Armored Core game. So he's kind of going back to the very first project he ever worked on, but now he's in control and can put his own spin, his own flavor into the Armored Core franchise, which will be cool.
Wow. Which
is sort of a Gundam-style battle robots. Now, Mike, do you think it will be Elden Ringified?
He says it's going to be mission-based, which is good. And so the whole armor core, you build your robot from the ground up. You pick your legs. You can have tank treads. You can have hover legs. You can have jump legs. You can pick all your guns. Completely customizable. So the fun is in customizing it for whatever the mission parameters are. Like, oh, we got radiation. You need a better shielding for this mission, or you're going to, so there's parameters like that put on you where you'll be adjusting your build of your robot to fit each mission. Oh, the gravity's too high here. You can't be a skinny boy.
Boosters.
Yeah, you can do that kind of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to it, and hopefully people like it. But yeah, that's my biggest thing for next year. Jacob.
That'd be dope.
Nice. Real quick, I just want to shout out one show that I was going to mention, Severance. Really good show that came out this year.
Show of the year.
As far as new things, like maybe new movies or something, there's a lot that's supposed to be coming out in 2023 in terms of like, there's like a new Martin Scorsese movie, Killers of the Flower Moon, that's supposed to come out. That Ridley Scott Napoleon movie that I'm gonna be super into. So a lot of stuff like that. What else?
I'm into Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan Oppenheimer.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. The Barbie movie.
Barbie.
Oh, Barbie. Yeah.
Barbie's
Love
gonna
that trailer, the 2001
Normies,
trailer.
We'll do an episode on Barbie.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. In terms of more comic book or MCU superhero side, we got Quantumania, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. We got Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm an Ant-Man fan, and we get who's our guy from Lovecraft Country? Jonathan Majors.
Majors.
Yeah. He's going to be back. We love him.
Atticus.
Kang. And he's going to be sort of the new Thanos in terms of like being the overarching villain, I think, of this phase.
But also,
and they said
there's multiverse versions of him, so he's going to be playing a bunch of different
saw a
Kangs.
version in Loki.
Yeah. Maybe this one will get blown up, and then another one will come in.
But this movie, I am looking forward to. Even though I love Paul Rudd, Ant-Man's not my favorite character, but I do like those movies enough. This movie, they said, like, I think Feige said, like, we wanted to make this movie like really important to the overarching storyline, because the other two Ant-Mans, they never really had that much to do with like the overarching MCU stuff. So this one's going to have really important MCU stuff in it with Kang and everything. So I think that'll be really interesting.
Yeah, and then he's got his daughter, I think Hope Van Dyne. She's got a cool haircut now. Like, I like the look of the Wasp in this one. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Guardians 3, James Gunn's swan song with MCU before starting with the whole new DC universe.
We haven't even talked about that. We have this whole new world to look forward to. So strange. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be
no Henry Cavill.
Next year's going to be wild.
But we still got Ezra Miller. Don't worry.
Now, Jacob, you want to revise your list? You want to put Black Adam at your number one, you said?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Black Adam.
Yeah, Black Adam. Didn't watch that.
Never be seen again, probably.
Bye.
Yeah, what was one that you saw that you definitely were like, get this away from me? For me, it was Jurassic World Dominion. I'm like, this should in no way, shape, or form ever be screened.
I mean, I saw Morbius this year.
I didn't see Morbius.
Okay,
that's
worst
of the year.
Yeah, I saw Morbius this year.
You win.
Uncharted. I don't know if that was 21, but the Sony stuff, it really breaks my heart.
They're bad at it.
Yeah.
Oh no, next year.
WB 2.
Spider-Verse 2. Very excited about that.
That'll be good.
Spider-Verse 2, absolutely.
The one thing they do right.
One thing they do right.
For somehow. Oscar Isaac, your boy, Moon Knight's back, Mike.
Heck yeah. And we get Dune 2, right?
Yes.
Dune 2. I didn't even mention
Jacob.
Dune 2.
Bro,
Dune, my favorite movie of 2021.
On the rise.
Yes.
And also, I just wanted to, insult WB really quick, because they're doing terribly. And they put out Don't Worry, Darling as one of their only 2 movies this year. That was a real stinker to me, unfortunately. Did not like that one. A lot of wasted potential there, but still love Florence Pugh though.
Yeah, hopefully.
But definitely looking
MCU she'll be better.
Yeah, definitely look forward to Dune 2, which she's in.
For sure.
I got other 22 stuff just real quick. Thor: Love and Thunder, didn't love it. The new Hellraiser was cool. We talked about that. I did watch The Pale Blue Eye on Netflix. It's
I'm watching that tonight, Mike.
It's fun. It's fun. No, it's got a vibe. It's perfect for like a rainy night in the house.
Allan Poe.
Okay.
Yeah. The guy who plays Poe is really good. I can't remember his name, but he was in like the Buster Scruggs
Harry
shorts.
Melling.
Yeah, he's really, really good in it. So, yeah.
Colin, you didn't have Amsterdam on your top 10?
I recommend everyone watch it though. Boy.
Okay.
If
I'll
you
probably
want
watch
to
that one.
lose
And,
your
and
mind,
Babylon
boy.
was another one I wanted to see.
Yeah, Margot.
Get the
That's why I'm
chance.
rooting for Barbie. Margot needs something.
She's
going.
like the
Needs a
Idris
win.
Elba of actress. Like she can't sell
Yeah.
a movie. I don't know why.
Yes,
I like her a
apparently
lot.
not.
Harley
She
doesn't
just
work
can't
for
sell a
some reason.
movie.
It
Birds
doesn't
of
make
Prey.
any sense.
Yeah.
Should have been a bigger
And Birds
hit.
of Prey had my other leading lady, Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
That's right.
You
And
know?
Ewan McGregor, your favorite actor.
Gosh,
my
right?
God.
Couldn't do it.
Mike, you
And an
gotta
egg
watch
sandwich.
Pinocchio.
I will.
All right. As we said, we missed a lot of stuff. We want recommendations. Like,
Absolutely.
we didn't get into a ton of video games. I want everybody to say, like, you didn't talk about God of War. You didn't, like, write into us
Yeah.
at @Normies_like_ us, where you can always recommend that stuff. But, like, we did a ton of episodes on a ton of great stuff this year. I think we hit a lot of it, even if we didn't include these lists. So we urge you to go back. And if you're thinking like, they left this off, you hit that little search bar. Maybe we did talk about it. Maybe it was on a Whatcha. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're into the mid 200s now on the episode
And
list.
we're always looking for more things to talk about.
The
new
more we
things.
talk about, the harder it gets to find things to talk about.
We're getting
That's right.
sick. It's okay. We're fine. But I love doing these top 10s with you guys.
Me too.
It's
Me
always
too.
one of my favorite episodes. So great.
I like
Yeah.
it because it gives us a chance to talk about things that maybe a whole episode, like I couldn't talk about Tar for a whole episode,
No.
but being able to mention it and talk about it for a couple of minutes is always good. So
Jacob,
Yeah.
it's literally illegal for me to ever bring up Chip and Dale again. Like, this is it. Like, it's over. Like, I'm never going to get to. So
And we
we're
did do
saying
an episode on
goodbye.
it too, though. So if you
That's
want more,
true.
that's true. Yeah.
we have more.
And we're
But
looking
no, this
forward to
was great.
2023. More episodes, more normies.
Life becoming
And,
more normal, maybe slowly
Hey,
feeling
yeah.
that way.
That'd be nice.
So
Maybe.
yeah, hopefully everybody had a great holiday season. Happy Honda days, all that. Hopefully you had a happy New Year. We're happy that you're here listening to Normies Like Us.
Mainly, happy Norm year.
That's
Happy
right. Happy
Norm
Norm Year.
We've been your hosts. This is Happy Norm year, Colin.
Happy Norm Year, Micah.
This is Baby Normie, Jacob.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Goo goo gaga.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.